Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda Thompson with Allied Instructional Services. One of the projects we're working on right now is to spotlight some of the technology that is available on the market for students and clients who are blind and visually impaired, to talk about some of the positives and negatives of these devices, and a little bit about which students or clients these devices might work best for. So today I have a HIMS QBraille XL in front of me. It is a hybrid keyboard with 6-key entry, a 40-cell refreshable braille display, and access to all of your function keys and your modifier keys so that you can use this with any Windows-based computer, any Apple-based product, and any Android device. So this is a note taker that can work independently of itself to do some word processing, to read books, to Daisy books, but it can also connect to other devices and allow for that refreshable braille display. And it can be used across a lot of settings. So it's a really nice device for students or clients who are really good with their braille entry. They need access to the tactile input, but they're also really good at keyboard commands. It's for students who might not do as well as quickly or as independently with a typical refreshable braille display that requires different keyboard commands than what they would use with a QWERTY keyboard. And it's great for students who aren't so good at typing efficiently with a QWERTY keyboard. So just to give you some tips before you start, this device is connected by USB. When you connect it that way, you only need to um, connect the keyboard once you've installed it with JAWS or NVDA as the driver software on there, which powers the refreshable braille display components, and you've added the device on your system. For example, on Windows, you would need to go to the control panel and as a device. If you're connecting as Bluetooth, the keyboard component is considered separate from the refreshable braille display component, so you would need to connect both. It's not that difficult to do, but just for ease sake, today I'm connected by USB. Also, the device is kind of low on battery, so I need to charge at the same time. So USB is great for that. Um, Once you're connected and your device is on, you need to but before you connect, when your device is on, you need to make sure your input and output are in the correct braille mode. It has access to EBAE, contracted and uncontracted, computer braille, and then UEB contracted and UEB uncontracted. So make sure your braille language is in the correct mode. And we have access here on my desktop. So I'm going to show you that you can press the Windows key. And if you press J, so the function keys, the keyboard command keys are all going to work, but the braille input and braille display are not working because JAWS is not running. So I need to use my regular QWERTY keyboard to type in JAWS and open JAWS.
JAWS online screen recorder.
And we're going to allow JAWS to run in the background so you can hear that JAWS is working well with the device. So I have open, let's see, I'm going to make these
Document.
larger. Originally, I was
Google
going to
dash
make them smaller, but in hindsight, having them
document one
large
dash word
will be
edit.
good. So you can see I can press the control button on this hybrid keyboard at this point to silence things. So if I wanted to type something like, my name is Amanda, so when I'm typing, whoops, I'm going to use contracted braille. When I'm typing, it is showing up here. This is an option that you can turn on or off, but it allows me to preview what I've typed before it shows up on my screen. So when I hit space,
Space.
oh, I had a nice, beautiful typo on there. So I can go back and
Smith
fix it.
DD. Space.
It updates onto the screen after I have pressed space. This is really great for students who don't always type accurately or need to go back and edit what they've written before they hit enter. So it allows them to feel before the computer gets that input. So Amanda, let's see, I'm
Space.
35, so
Space.
I'm just writing some, and you don't have to do contracted braille. Here is an example of me
Space.
writing in uncontracted. So if you have someone who forgets those contractions, sometimes that's okay. And then old shows up here, and then it shows up on the screen. So I really like that you can get that preview before it is input into the computer. And I'm going to give you another example for why this is good. So I'm going to press Alt Tab to go to Google.
Google Chrome.
Okay.
Address and search bar edit. Google.
One of the things I wanted to show you also is that, we need to go to the address bar. We would press on a QWERTY keyboard Alt and the letter D, but that's not an option. So we actually press Alt and then the letter D this way with the braille keys 1, 4, 5.
Alt D.
And so that can kind of get tricky for some of the keyboard commands that use letters because you kind of have to figure out, are you going to use your pinky finger? Are you going to use your thumb? Is it important still for your main 4 digits of your hands to be in the correct spot? So that was kind of a learning curve for me personally. And then the other learning curve that I have is like the spacing between the function keys and the modifier keys are not standard because this keyboard is significantly smaller than a QWERTY keyboard. So just getting my muscle memory in place has been really a little bit of a learning curve for me. But what's really nice is they're so close together for young learners with small fingers. It's really nice for them. So I'm gonna type in, say, drive.google.com, right? So it's going to show up on my refreshable braille display before it shows up in the address bar. So I can check my work before I've typed it for it to go into the search engine. So drive.google.com. Okay. So I can check here, drive.google.com, and then I press enter
Drive. Enter. My
and
Drive dash Google
boom.
Drive
And
dash
that's
Google
actually my
Chrome
personal
Calendar
drive. So I'm going
My
to
Banner
switch
Region Google
to my
Account
testing email
Information
account.
Testing Emiltly dot My Drive
I'm
dash
using my
Google
mouse to
Drive
do this.
My Drive dash
Um,
Google Drive My Drive dash Google Drive
so we're
space.
going to hit control. So I just wanted to like comment about how it's really nice that it comes up on the refreshable braille display before you press space. So you can edit it before it gets input into anything, which is great for things like um, typing in your Microsoft Word or your Google Doc, or if you're typing in a web address. That is a setting that you're able to toggle on and toggle off depending on your own personal preference or what your student needs. But that's just one of my favorite features of this device. When I first pulled this out of the box, I have to say I was not too excited about it. I thought it would be a little cumbersome to try to get my brain in that process of 6-key entry with access to all my modifier and function keys. But truly, I think this is a fabulous device for a lot of the students that I work with, and would like to do a tryout with some of them because I think they might like something like this more than they would like just a standard keyboard with regular old, refreshable braille display with just that refreshable braille function. And even probably better than something like the Focus 40 where you have to learn how to use the rocker bars and all of the chord combinations because they have already learned some of those JAWS commands and they're able to just use all the devices that are right on this keyboard. So hopefully you have a little bit better understanding of how the QBraille XL works. Like I said, once you get past that initial learning curve, this device is absolutely fabulous, and I think there are a lot of potential uses for it beyond the standard refreshable braille display. So hopefully I'm going to do a video connecting it to an iOS device and possibly an Android device as well in the future so you can see all of the wonderful things that this device can do. I hope you have a great day.